And we're rolling.
All right, so.
Welcome to the first episode of Critics in Cars.
Critics in Cars.
Technically, we're only in one car, so that probably doesn't really work.
Carpool criticism.
Carpool criticism. But we don't want to call carpool criticism because we're ripping off...
Yeah, we don't want to rip off James Corden. That would be ridiculous. Because we're our own people. And also, he doesn't talk about film. He just talks to people from films, which is probably more exciting for the people watching. But anyway, let's assume the people watching actually want to know...
About LAPSIS? Shall we talk about LAPSIS? It's like we're driving home from LAPSIS.
Yeah.
So it's Monday night, it's dark, we've just gotten out of the Silky Otter and we've watched a film called LAPSIS by a guy named Noah Hudden.
So as we go into the screening, the wonderful distributor, Brooke, I said to her, look, I haven't seen a trailer, I know nothing about this film whatsoever, which... She said was a good thing, didn't she? Going in totally blind.
I think she said that kind of like seeing the trailer didn't help because she didn't understand it.
Oh, well, that's true.
I had seen the trailer like 8 times at
and it didn't help. You still were none the wiser.
No, it did help. And it kind of summarized the first third of the movie. I was worried that it gave too much away.
Look, I saw the whole movie and it didn't help. So I still couldn't tell you exactly what it's about, but...
That sounds like a glowing review.
No, I mean, I thought it was terrific. I thought LAPSIS was an incredibly clever conceit. Something so original. Oh my gosh, Doug. I mean,
so the conceit is basically it's like a gig economy kind of parallel present day sort of thing that involves people running cables through the woods. I think they call it
sci-fi as in near future, don't they?
Yeah, it's alternate present. Because
Sure.
You've still got like 4x3 televisions and stuff and
yeah, so these people who are desperate for money take up gigs, literally clambering through the wilderness, through beautiful bits of forest, laying cable for cable.
Not a metaphor.
I didn't know that was a metaphor.
Let's not go there then.
Is it rude?
Perhaps.
Okay, so no, literally laying cable. Wouldn't that be funny if that's where the filmmaker got the idea from? Maybe let's make a film about literally laying cables. But anyway, laying cable through the forest. This is not a spoiler, you never really understand what the cabling is used for, but we do understand that it is critical to... a
large financial market.
Yes, and therefore everybody's daily life, right?
Yeah, it's something about quantum computing. I suspect if you knew what they were talking about, it might make sense or it might not, but the genius of the setup is that it's kind of irrelevant to you as it is to the main character.
Yeah, because
played by the voice of James Gandolfini.
Yeah, played by the voice of James Gandolfini. The main actor, whose name is Dean Imperial. Oh my gosh, I hadn't seen him in anything before, but I felt like I knew him well because, as Doug says, he's just like James Gandolfini.
Close your eyes and you're there.
Oh my gosh, like a younger James. And it's so sad when you know that he couldn't possibly be. There's even a slight joke about the fact that he used to work in waste management. And honestly, the filmmakers must acknowledge, hey, that he's a very Gandolfini-esque character.
Well, I think it's also part of the whole different. I think there's so Noah Hudden comes from a documentary background.
He's the director.
He's the director
and the writer.
Yes, director, writer, editor, and potentially composer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hats at play. Maybe too many. I think in the final hurdles of the film, it gets a little bit blurry, trying to do too much and not enough all at once. But fundamentally, he's got this sort of big critique of the economy, which ties in very well with these sort of smaller tastes of like, oh, actually, there's always been black markets, there's always been people trying to circumvent the system. A lot of this isn't new. There's certainly workers organizing in order to try to disrupt monopolies is not new, and yet it's all handled with this very dry sense of humor, this elegant, really lived-in world of...
It's basically an allegory.
Yes. So, and we could continue, but we're home now. So, in conclusion, I think LAPSIS is worth seeing.
I do too. I think LAPSIS is 4 stars of completely fresh originality, very well executed, a fascinating indie flick.
There you go.